Om Shanti. In today's Murli, Baba is telling us that when Baba comes, so Baba purifies the world, and that is the business, that is the task that Baba does. He makes us pure, and Baba understands that purity is the most important, because where there is purity, there will be, this knowledge will also enter the buddhi, and also then we will be able to imbibe virtues and powers, and accordingly we will be able to move to a world where the elements of nature also obey us. So all that will start with purity. That is why when Baba comes, the first thing he teaches is purity. And Baba says that you are my children, so what you should also pay attention to is purity. You should also do the same business that I do, which is make everyone pure. Now the thing is, how do you make everyone pure? So you see that mostly when children think about purifying the world, what they do is just sit in meditation and spread this thought that, I am pure, the world is pure, and everything is getting purified. But then if that was the method, then Baba also could have sat in the soul world, or sat in Brahma Baba's body and just thought, this body is getting pure, the world is getting pure. But is that the method that Baba adopted to purify the world? No, he started teaching, because you see that purity, when we talk about purity, so we understand, so it's not, purity is not something new. For ages, people have understood the value of purity, and that is why there is a whole dharam, the sannyas dharam, which is created on the basis of purity. And sannyasis understood the importance of purity so much, but of course they didn't understand the importance of, full purity, not the mind, words and body, but they understood at least the importance of physical purity. So what they did is, just to embrace celibacy, they were able to pay the price of leaving their homes, leaving everybody they call their own, and settle in the jungle. So much price they were willing to pay just to embrace celibacy. So Baba says that they understood the value of purity, although not complete purity, because when Baba talks about purity, it is purity of tan, man and dhan. It's not just tan, okay? It's not just the body. It is tan, man and dhan ki purity. But then when sannyasis also understood one aspect of purity, they sacrificed so much. They left their everything, whatever they called mine, and they went to the jungle. So the world knows the importance of purity, and that is why people in this world were willing to pay that much of price for purity. But Baba says, I do not encourage purity through such, such staunch methods, or I am not asking you to move to the jungle or do hatha yoga. So that is not my method of teaching you purity. So when Baba wants to make us pure, what is the method that he adopts? He opens a school. So he opens a school cum hospital. What is So the centers are what Baba calls the school come hospital. So where the education for purity and the empowerment for purity is provided. So Baba says that when Shiv Baba came, so it was a small house, and then you see Baba says that what did the father do? He opened this hospital come university. This is also the task of the children. In the beginning, when the father came, the building was small. It was even smaller than Mama's room. So when the Murli is being spoken, so Baba says, right now the size of Mama's room is bigger than the building that we lived in when the yajna started. It was in there that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul came and opened hospital come university. Then gradually more buildings were built. In the beginning, there was just one house in a small street. They gradually increased, continued to increase. So this is also the children's duty. So the first thing is, what is the method that Baba adopts to bring about purity in this world or establish a world of purity? He opens a place where this education for purity can be given. Now, how did you and I embrace purity? So we embraced purity because we were reminded of our pure sanskars. We were reminded that you, the soul, are pure in essence when you are in the soul world, and then even when you come down for 2500 years, for 21 births, you are pure. So there is no lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. So it is complete purity. So Baba says, you need education, and this education will change your consciousness. This education will change your smriti, and then through that shift in consciousness, you receive the power of purity. And Baba has told us that smriti se samarthi. So when the consciousness changes, then automatically you develop the power for elevated actions. Yes, so Baba says that, so have you seen that when something enters your buddhi very well, and the way your whole thought process shifts, then you are capable to do much more than what you were capable of earlier. So Baba says that this is the method, and when I adopt this method, then this is the method that is to be adopted to change this world from impure to pure. So first thing is, we must understand the importance of centers, the importance of places where this task, this godly task of purifying the world is happening. If there is no center, then can you conduct these classes? Can you need an establishment. If there is no establishment, how can this task happen? Now, Baba says that when I adopt this method, now if God doesn't know better than this, then obviously there is no other method better than this. So if Baba comes and he thinks that in order to establish a pure world, first I have to establish a place where this education can be imparted, and he gives so much importance to these places of education and school come hospital, which means that education is imparted and the soul is treated for the vices. So these places are of a lot of importance, and it is important that we understand that there is no other shortcut method to do this. And I will tell you one thing, this is my first hand experience and I want to share this with you. So there was this brother who used to come to the center, and then every time, we discussed, it was not like we discussed with him, but whenever there was a general discussion about expansion of the center, or taking a bigger place, or taking a place where we could conduct more classes and the hall would be bigger, so he would always say that, Didi, what is the point of taking a bigger place? We could always conduct from a small place or a big place, doesn't matter. And anyway, we should be free from material consciousness. So I was always amazed at how he didn't understand that this is God's work. But anyways, I didn't tell him anything anytime. But what happened is, once he came in contact with a big center, and then he stopped coming here and he started going there. And then when I asked him, why did you stop coming here and start going there? Then he said, it's a bigger place, and the vibration is different. And when so many people sit together, it feels, different. And then I started thinking that you don't want to participate in the growth of your existing center, but you like a big center. So although I didn't tell that to him, I said, okay, it is Baba's place. If you feel like it's okay, you go. But the thing is, we understand that if education is to be imparted, if there has to be a spiritual hospital or a spiritual school, then, the facilities in the school, or when the school is big, or when the school is full of all the facilities, let's say, you have a projector and you can show Baba's videos, and you can give an illustrative show of what Baba talks about the soul world, what is the soul world like, or what is Baba like. So these days, there are many methods through which we can teach. And if all those facilities are available, if the place is big, many people can meditate together, then it obviously makes a difference. But the thing is, we like all that, and we like the fact that there are facilities in big centers, but we ourselves don't think that it is my duty to create a bigger place out of the place where I take sustenance from. So that is the thing that Baba is underlining today, that the importance of a place where a school come university come hospital can be opened is very important. And then the most important thing is the teaching and the teacher. So Baba is the supreme teacher, but then the instruments have to teach on behalf of Baba. Yes, so Baba spoke through the mouth of Brahma Baba, and Brahma Baba, of course, is the best instrument, but then there are instrument teachers. So after the facility is in place, then comes the question of a teacher. So Baba says, now you also have to pay attention to be a good teacher. Because if the teachings of the Supreme Teacher are to be imparted, then the instrument teacher has to be like the Supreme Teacher. So, your vibration has to be very close to the vibration of the Supreme Teacher. So, just like Baba is the ocean of purity, the ocean of knowledge, so one has to really work on their personality, on their energy, on their imbibing of knowledge, on their dharana of every point, and how they have become an embodiment of knowledge in action, so that these teachings can be imparted. So Baba says, the method to purify the world comes through teachings. And for the teaching, you need a place to teach, and you need an instrument to teach. And that instrument has to work on their energy, work on their vibration, work on their embodiment, work on being an embodiment of virtues and knowledge. And Baba says only then can this knowledge of purity be imparted. Now let's say there is a teacher who doesn't practice purity but teaches purity. So obviously there will be no impact. So Baba says then the importance of a pure instrument comes in, and not just pure but also knowledgeful, also loveful. So just like Baba is knowledgeful, loveful, pure, everything, so the instrument teacher also has to be like that. So Baba says teachings also have to be given. Only those who are educated would open a university. Yes, so you have to be educated, and educated not just in knowledge but in virtues and powers also. Yes, do you understand? The education in virtues is very important. The education in powers is very important, because you are teaching knowledge, you are teaching virtues, you are teaching powers. Are you not? Yes, so if you are talking about love and you're not loveful, then the other person is also not going to get the idea of love right. So Baba says one has to be, educated in knowledge, educated in virtues, and educated in powers. And when you talk about education of knowledge, knowledge is imparted through words. So if you know knowledge well, you are educated in knowledge. But then virtues and powers are never taught through words, they are taught through actions. Yes, they are taught through actions. And therefore Baba says that if you're well educated, you can become a good instrument to teach Baba's knowledge and to create a pure world. But Baba also here underlines that suppose you are not very educated, then what you can do is you can become an instrument for establishing a place and then hand it over to somebody who is educated and ask them to teach there. Yes, so this is also something that can be done. So this is the method of purity that Baba teaches. And then Baba says that the child has to do the business of the father. So Baba says, I am the parent and I have come and I have adopted you, I have made you pure, and it is your duty to do the same thing that I do. Yes, and do you understand that as Baba's children, it is our duty to do what Baba does. And when Baba, my father, believes in this task of creating a pure world so, with all his heart, then I also have to participate in purifying the world with all my heart. And then Baba says, such children who do this sit in Baba's heart, sit on Baba's heart throne. And then Baba today says that people don't know that Baba is the Lord and Master or Baba is the parent. So even in Sannyas Dharam, sannyasis didn't know that God is my father. But now that Baba has come and become our father, it is our duty to give everyone the introduction of the father and make them belong to the father. Now just understand this one thing. So have you seen an orphan and somebody who has a parent? Have you seen the difference between somebody who doesn't have a parent and somebody who has a parent? Yes, so if there is somebody who doesn't have a physical parent, then for every little thing, yes, they have to strive. And for somebody who has a parent, they get everything as a right. Yes, food, care, clothing, shelter, education, everything they get as a right. And somebody who doesn't have a parent doesn't have any right over anything. They beg for everything. Now you look at the world. What is the state of the world today? Every soul is begging for peace, begging for happiness, begging for power. And Baba says, and begging for knowledge, because nobody knows anything. And then Baba says, you are the children of the ocean of purity, peace, knowledge, everything. But then everybody is begging because they don't know the Father, they don't know the source. Because they don't know the Father, they don't belong to the Father. That is why they are striving so much for something that is their birthright. And it is your duty to make everybody belong to the Father. Now, you just see, when there is an orphan, he also struggles to find his identity. Yes, who am I? And then when there is somebody who has a parent, he is born with an identity. So, his parent's identity becomes his identity. And, the other day I was talking to one brother, and he told me that my relationships are going bad, my work is going bad, I don't have money, there are other problems which are not getting solved. And suddenly I have lost all my self-respect. So I don't have any self-esteem these days. And then I told him, you see, when we are orphans and we are away from Baba, then we look for our identity in these things. And when anything on the external shifts, then we become, very confused about who am I, or what is my self-esteem. But when you belong to Baba, then you know who you are. You know your being, you know your virtues, you know your powers, you know your duties, irrespective of the circumstances you're living in. So Baba says, when children, the souls, don't know their spiritual parent, Shiv Baba, then every day is a struggle for identity, struggle for peace, struggle for happiness, struggle to feel powerful and important and worthy. And for us children, self-worth, happiness, peace, purity, power, it is like something that we are entitled to. And this entitlement comes from knowing Baba, from knowing the parent. So Baba says, it is every child's right, every soul's right to know the Father and receive this entitlement from the Father. And Baba says, it is your duty to share with your brothers and sisters what you have got. And Baba says, don't forget this duty, and until and unless you create places where this knowledge can be imparted and you become instruments who are pure enough to impart the knowledge, how will you bring other people to the awareness of their powers, of their truth, and of their virtues? So this is also something that Baba underlines. And then Baba today says that you have to ask yourself whether I have become pure. And Baba says, firstly, there is the question, have I become pure myself? Do I have any vices? Do I have that much love for the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? If I love Him, what is the proof of that love? So Baba says the proof of that love is to remain engaged in the business of making impure ones pure. If you do not do this business, neither have you yourself become pure, nor are you able to make others pure. And then Baba says, some become trapped by attachment. And what stops you from, taking up this business of making everybody pure? So there are some children who who listen to Baba's directions, and they immediately decide that I am the one who has to be the right hand in Baba's task of purification. And there are some who keep thinking, they don't do that, they don't become an instrument. Why? Because of attachment. Yes? So Baba says, children are trapped by attachment. And what does attachment do? Attachment makes you think that whatever you have, the body, mind, and wealth, it belongs to people. Yes, and then that attachment doesn't allow you to participate in Baba's task. So Baba says there are some children who are trapped by attachment. And Baba says there should be constant love for the Father, and you also have to show that you have become a conqueror of attachment. All your attachment has to be removed from your old friends and relatives and the old world. And only when that has been removed can you imbibe virtues. Yes? Now let me ask you some simple questions. Can you become humble and can you become polite if you have attachment to your ego? Yes? No. So you see that virtues, the imbibing of virtues is connected to being free from attachment. So we have attachment to our own labels and titles, to the body, and that attachment is called ego. We have attachment to people, to friends, relatives, and that is called attachment. And then we have attachment to things, which is called greed. Yes? So we have different kinds of attachment. And where there is attachment, there cannot be virtues. You cannot be generous, you cannot be humble, you cannot be giving, you cannot have the virtue to be like Baba, have a large heart, or participate in world transformation if there is any kind of attachment. And so Baba says, you have to strive to become free from attachment. And what is the effort that makes you free from attachment? Creating and developing this consciousness that I am a soul and everything around me is old. So, whatever is old has to go. And I don't have to have any attachment with the perishable. Now I know the imperishable and I have to work towards building the imperishables. What is imperishable? My own state of awareness is imperishable, and my connection, relationship with Baba is imperishable, and the punya karma that I do by following Srimad is imperishable. So Baba says, I have to pay attention to developing the imperishables and withdrawing from the perishable. So this is a subject of awareness. And with this awareness, when we work, then we will be able to be a conqueror of attachment. So because of attachment, we are not doing the business that Baba does. Yes, and when children come to Baba, so there are some people who offer, some children of Baba, sometimes they offer to give their life or, surrender themselves in Baba's seva. And we as instruments, we always check whether this soul has a lot of attachment or not. Because if somebody has attachment, then today they will think of surrendering, and tomorrow they will withdraw from their decision, because attachment makes your buddhi pull towards the one you are attached to. And then such a buddhi is not able to discern and decide well. It is not able to discern and decide according to Srimad. So Baba underlines this also. And then Baba says that you see that when people are attached, what are they doing? They are defaming each other every day. So you see, Baba says, just look at what some children continue to do throughout the day. They spoil the hearts of one another. They continue to defame others. Such and such a person is like this. This one is like that. Yes? Why do we keep doing this? Yes? Why do we keep looking at the defects of others? Have you ever thought that all day we keep looking at other people's defects? Because this is a very good protection which we take so that we don't have to look at ourselves. Yes? If you keep looking at other people's defects, then it keeps boosting your ego. And this saves you from looking at yourself. And I always give this example. So when we were little children, what we used to do is to make one line small, yes, we would just draw another line which is bigger in front of it, and then it would grow small in comparison. Yes, so you don't have to reduce or elongate anything. Just by comparison, you can make something smaller and bigger. So how have we, traditionally up till now, the method that we have adopted to feel bigger, feel better or boost our ego is to put other people down in our own mind. So, when you're talking to somebody, just say this one is like this and this one has this defect, and then automatically inside of you, you think that I don't have that defect, so I'm better than them. Yes, but the thing is, you might not have that defect, but you have other defects. And when you look at other people's defects, then you shut your eyes towards your own defects. So Baba says this is also another thing that people keep doing in this world, and this is not the sign of a virtuous soul. So if you're full of virtues, you will look at other people's virtues. If you're looking at other people's defects, that means you're yourself full of defects. So Baba says, instead of doing that, instead of defaming others and spoiling other people's hearts, now you see that, there is one brother and he told me that I hate my wife. So I said, what has she done? So he said, not something I can remember. I don't remember anything. But there are other family members who keep telling me that she's like this and she's like that. And I have developed a hatred for her. And I know this sounds bizarre, but I listen to people and my heart now is full of a lot of anger and resentment for my own wife. So you see that words can spoil the hearts of others. And when you keep, all people who have low self-esteem, what they do is they keep discussing other people's defects, keep spoiling others' hearts, and this is the formula they adopt so that other people love them. Because when you spoil other people's hearts for everyone else, then only you are left to love. So, so this is the method that is adopted. But Baba says, what do you gain through this? When you do this, your own karma is getting spoiled. And your karma, which creates your destiny, is against you. Then you're not gaining anything in the end. It may look like a short-term gain, but nothing long-term. And so Baba says, the virtuous, the wise thing to do is instead look at your own defects. Look at what is my defect, what is inside me that needs to change. And when you start looking at that, then believe me, 63 births of defects we have, it's a lot. This whole lifetime will go in that, and you will not have any time and any thought left to think about other people's defects. Yes, so Baba says, do this. So Baba underlines the importance of being pure. Baba underlines the importance of creating schools and hospitals to imbibe, to give the knowledge of purity. Baba underlines the importance of being free from attachment so that we can pay importance to participating in Baba's task. Baba underlines the importance of not defaming others but looking at our own defects instead. And then Baba says, when you look at your own defects and you remove your defects, then your mercury of happiness will rise. So you see, you may feel temporary ego boost by putting other people down, but real and permanent happiness comes from good karma. So when you purify yourself or you do seva, then you will have real everlasting happiness. So Baba says, those who do service remain constantly happy and cheerful. Their names are glorified. So you do not have to use the method to defame someone or spoil other people's hearts to glorify your name. Your name will be glorified if you do seva. And then Baba says, Baba also underlines the importance of simplicity. And Baba says that there will be a time when it will be very difficult to find even torn clothes to wear. There will come a time when you will not even find torn clothes to wear. So you should not have too much attachment to what you wear. So your wearing should be simple. Your buddhi should be detached from clothes. Now this is very important, There is one sister and she told me, Didi, I don't have any asakti towards food. I don't like jewelry. I don't have any prejudices as such, but I'm very attracted towards clothes. And everywhere I go, I keep looking at what other people are wearing. And every time I go shopping, it is always the garment store. So I just was reminded of that sister when Baba said this today, that it will be very difficult to find fine clothes later. So it's very important that we detach our buddhi from what we are wearing. Now, it doesn't mean that you choose to wear something that is torn. If a good piece of cloth is available, wear that. That's not a problem. But the thing is, what you are wearing should not determine how you feel about yourself or how you conduct yourself. So have you seen that what you are wearing has an impact on your self-esteem. If you're wearing good clothes, you feel confident. And if you're not wearing proper clothes, you don't feel confident. But this is what Baba is asking us to change. So what you're wearing should not impact your level of self-esteem. So this is also another Srimad that Baba gives. And then Baba says, our task is to make the impure ones pure, the salty ones sweet, and the ugly ones beautiful. Now, have you met some salty ones? Yes, the ones who don't respond to Om Shanti, or the ones who don't smile back at you, or the ones who don't return polite words politely. Now, Baba tells categorically that it is your duty to change those salty ones into sweet with your sweetness. Yes, and Baba gives a very beautiful example. The sun is able to extract sweet water from salty water. So why can't you extract sweetness from a salty personality? So with your sweetness, so do you know how to persevere with your sweetness? So I have seen that sweetness can melt hearts, but you have to be sweet for a long time and genuinely sweet. Yes, and I have seen that there was this one person, and they were a little like what Baba describes as salty. And then I continued to smile, I continued to be nice, I continued to cook his favorite dish, and I continued to treat them with respect. And then, after maybe I think 15 days, they responded. And they responded the way a sweet person does. And then I told that person, your face looks so beautiful today. Why don't you smile like this every day? And Baba says, a sweet person looks beautiful and a salty person looks ugly. So it's not about physical beauty, but when you are able to emerge that sweetness from inside. Have you seen that every face, when that face smiles, is sweet? Yes, every face. There is no face on earth which doesn't appear beautiful when they smile. And the only reason why we are not beautiful is we don't smile. Yes, there is absolutely no face which doesn't appear beautiful when they smile. So Baba says, teach them to smile, teach them beauty, bring them to their beautiful self by your sweetness. And you have to persevere with your sweetness. Because one day you smile, they don't smile back, second day, third day. But if you keep smiling, what will they do? They will smile ultimately. Yes, and Baba says, but some, what they do is, they end up making the salty ones saltier. So when somebody is, and you must understand that there is something inside which makes them behave like that. And if you're not nice to them, that something grows. So that something will become bigger and bigger, and the salt will increase. So Baba says, you are the child of the ocean of sweetness. This should not happen in your presence. So I have just talked about some points in the Murli today. The Murli today is full of points. So half of the Murli I have taken some points, and the other half is just left as it is. So you read the whole Murli, churn over it. It is really beautiful. Okay, Om Shanti.